It's no hesitation. Just got out of the gym. I wanted to make a quick video talking about specifically about you, especially if you're doing visualization, especially if you right now, if you're putting these emotions, you're doing everything that you can to be this new version, but nothing is happening. Nothing is working out. You're going to bed with audios. You're visualizing before you sleep. You're doing all these things, but somehow nothing is flourishing. Maybe you actually have been taking time, like you're actually being patient. It's been 3, 4, 5, even 6 months, being consistent, trying to put your faith in it, but somehow, some way, it's not happening. Nothing's working. Why is that? And this is the thing that you need to understand. First off, you need to go and figure out what is happening inside your inner world. You need to understand that, like, if you're doing the steps, okay, you might be doing the steps, but you might be doing it with the wrong form. It's like when you're working out, you're going every single day to the gym, you're doing all these things, but if you're working out with bad form, all you're doing is you're injuring yourself. And what it's doing is it's slowing you down and not pushing you forward to where you need to be at. So understanding that, you need to figure out inside your inner world what is going on. What is, like, even like, for example, if you're already having doubts, if you have doubts, if you've seen opportunity, like you're getting opportunity happening, and there's situations and problems that will come to you, and you need to understand, and it goes back to, like, this problems are what's building your character, but also jumping and taking the risk when you don't see it, because you have so much. If you're already downing yourself, like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, I have a job, I don't want to leave my job to focus on this, or you know what it is? You're basically having 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. It's like if two people are holding you from different sides, and what's happening is you aren't moving. Eventually, you'll fucking be split apart. This is the thing. You need to put your 2 feet forward of that new version, of that person that you are desiring to be. You need to understand that. You need to be like, from this video that you are listening, make sure that this is exactly what you want. And I talked about this in one of my videos, that one of the most amazing things that has helped me, that has benefited me, is journaling. Journal everything about your life. Like, for example, I journal in a sense, but at the same time, I make my videos. So when I do look back on my videos, I can tell how much progress I have done, because these are the things that are stacking your wins. These are the things that are helping you and benefiting you to continue moving forward. Sometimes we can't see the results, because the thing is, it's like, you got to understand that it starts to be so natural. It's completely natural to you. It's like, for example, for me right now specifically, I started studying more. I'm going to the gym consistently every single day. I'm drinking water. Like, I'm not drinking soda anymore. I'm making my bed, and all these things. A lot of people, like, it's exciting for me, and a lot of people are like, "What the fuck? You're excited about those little small things, even making your bed?" Yes, because those stacks of wins is what's gonna get you in the long run. Is what's gonna push you forward. Those little small things is what adds up. In the same sense, is those little small cuts that can happen to you, those little negative shits that you don't realize, things that you tell yourself, like, oh, I can't do this, those things that you speak to existence do bigger cuts at the end. Those little small shits will affect you in the long run. It's like the the 100 cuts. I forgot exactly how it says, but it's 100 cuts. And when you're basically doing it, sorry about that, my girl was calling, but and it goes back to what I'm saying. It's like those 100 cuts eventually will start to get deeper. The more it keeps cutting you every single time in that same spot over and over again, eventually you'll bleed out and die. And that new version that you're trying to be, if you're not fixing those little things immediately, eventually that new version that you're trying to be will die, and you go right back to your old version of yourself, the old character. So you need to understand this, my brothers. You need to understand that you need to start journaling, start writing everything that you can, even the most simple things. Start to build your prescription of the version that you're trying to be. Go in detail. I've talked about this in multiple of my videos. Go in detail exactly who you want to be. What time do you wake up? How do you walk? What do you do during your business hours? Whatever the case may be, go in detail and then start to figure out what are the things that are slowing you down? What are the things that are making you think in a certain type of way? Because deep down, when you start to look back in your old path and you start to figure out, like for example, I had a situation where I had a negative thought that came in my mind. It was maybe a week ago, and it was like being worried about money wise, because I'm investing a lot of money into my business. Like I've almost spent more than 7 to 8 grand on my business alone. And I also have so much other things, like I'm moving out, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And, my mom is telling me all these things as well. And this is another thing, like, this is why you need to cut people off, because these people are what's slowing you down. These people are basically putting negative images and thoughts in your mind and what's putting you down into their low frequency. But going back to what I'm trying to say, I had this thought of like, man, I think I'm making a bad decision. I think, I'm overthinking, and then I catch myself and I'm like, why the hell am I thinking like this? Why the hell am I thinking in such a negative way if I'm already the person? If I'm already successful and I'm making all this money and I'm lean and I'm healthy and I'm doing all this, this person wouldn't be worried. This person wouldn't be stressing about certain things. This person would be stressing or focusing on other better things in life. So I started figuring out, and I started writing down specifically exactly about that, and then rewriting it in a positive way, in a way that eliminates those thoughts to ever even come back into my head again. And I started figuring out, I'm like, oh, it was because not only my family was telling me about this, but because in the past I seen people struggle with money before. I seen my parents struggle with money before, and that's why my subconscious mind kept that deep inside of me, and that's what is basically projecting in this world right now. That's why I'm here where I'm at today. This is why it goes back to where you're at right now is your fault. Understand that where you're at right now is your fault. You put yourself in this position, but the thing is, you just haven't realized it. In the same sense, you haven't realized the cuts that are happening to you. You're not realizing the mistakes, the things that you say to yourself. Even though you're doing your visualization, even though you're doing all these things, you're not realizing the negative shit that you're putting into yourself. So remember, if you can take one thing out of this video, is constantly journal, write everything, every single day. Look at it. I have one page specifically of my version of myself that I desired in detail, and I read that first thing in the morning and before I go to bed. And I consciously catch myself. I look at myself in a third person perspective. I don't look at myself in this form. I look at myself in a third person perspective, and I start to analyze the mistakes that I do. I start to analyze, what are the things that I'm doing wrong? Am I saying a certain thing in a certain type of way? Am I walking in this scarcity, or am I walking in this confidence? Am I talking my shit, or am I backing down? And this is the thing that I start to look at. And eventually I start to exactly figure out what are my issues and what I need to fix. And the moment you start to patch everything, just like in a boat, these patches, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a minute. It's not like you're slapping a Band-Aid on a big ass hole and it's fine. The boat is fine. No, it's going to take a little bit to fix and to build. But eventually, when you start to fix all those holes that's making your boat sink, eventually when it starts to float, it's able to move forward towards the direction that you want to be. It's going to be able to move forward towards that new version of yourself that you always desire to be. But like I said, it starts into understanding where you're at and figuring out what are the mistakes that you're doing in your life.